Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Sarah Lindstrom, the head volleyball coach at Northville. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. You guys are on quite a roll right now, beating a really good Brighton team earlier this week. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have a game tonight. So kind of talk about how the week's been going and really how the season's been going so far.
Yeah, that was a really exciting win. Honestly, we walked out of that gym thinking we would love to have that competition every day if we had the opportunity. It was a great match against a well-coached Brighton team. In all my years of coaching, which in high school it's over 14, that's probably one of the best Brighton teams I've seen. So it was really exciting to see that level of volleyball in our conference and to see our girls really pushed and challenged in that match. We actually do have the night off today. It's one of our rare bye days,
Right.
which is exciting for us. We don't have many weeks where we get 3 days of practice in a row. So the girls get to have a little fun today. So I think they're going to be excited about that.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of talk about for people that don't know much about this team, kind of talk about some of the players that kind of really make this team and program go.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that jumps out to me is we've got 10 players on this team that were dressed in uniform in Battle Creek last year, which is a huge returning number for us. We have a handful of new players, two of which were pulled up to varsity last year, and we knew that they maybe weren't going to get an opportunity to get out on the court, but as a coaching staff, we knew the more kids that you have taste the water in Battle Creek, the stronger you're going to have that drive the following season. So this year we're led by 5 seniors that returned with us from last year that are leaders on the court and off. And there's just often many times in matches where I look out and every player on our court played in Battle Creek last year. So for us, we just have so much strength and depth in our team and our lineup. We have a large group of sophomores, 4 of which have joined this team, and they've pushed our upperclassmen, whether they're in the lineup or not. They are probably one of the main keys to our success this year.
Yeah. I mean, just going to, most, and you just said it, this group knows how to get to Battle Creek. Of course, that's where the state finals is. But knowing that going into this year, what really makes this team different from previous teams and even last year's team?
I think we just have more weapons. We relied very heavily last year on Abby Reck, and she did a really good job for us. Our setter Ella was able to move the ball around, and we had a handful of weapons, but I just think we had a few holes and gaps. And this year's team, the experience that we have and the depth that we have, it just runs deeper. And these girls are so motivated and driven. And this is my 3rd year now at Northville. And one challenging thing when you're a high school coach, no matter how strong of a community you're in, no matter how strong of a program you walk into, you've got to recreate and build on the culture that's already there. And it's taken us some time to get to that point, to get these kids to be on board. And I think at this point, every player that's on our roster has played for the era that my coaching staff has been in. So for all of them, they kind of know the expectations that we have. And there are things that we don't have to say and repeat and work on with this group because they've already done it for 2 years in our gym. So they're used to the routines and the expectations that we already have set. So we're able to just be more hands-on at practice, working on more technical and tactical things.
Okay, so kind of take a look at where we're at, and obviously you mentioned that you have the day off today, but going into the next few games, really, who do you have coming up?
So we've got a couple exciting matches coming up because we're going to have our senior night, which will be against Novi. And then we have a big teacher appreciation night that we're going to be hosting as well against Salem. So heading into those matches, anytime we get a chance to play a conference match, we know how extremely important that is because we have more goals than just going to Battle Creek. We want to win our conference. We want to win our rivalry match, which we've already seen Novi, who played us really tight earlier in the year. And to be honest, the girls don't love days off. This is one of the most competitive groups I've had. So they're just ready to compete.
Yeah. And really, just in these next few games, really, where do you want to see this? What do you want to see out of this group? Because it's like, now heading into these next few, because, before we know it, we're going to get to conferences and we're going to get to districts, and then it'll be really time to go.
Yeah, we're really focusing right now on our serving game from the end line. They say you're either winning or you're learning. And we learned a lot from our last match in November last year. And one of those things was, if you want to win a state championship, you need to be one of the best serving and passing teams in the state. It's just so important. And we'll be focusing a lot on the end line and staying aggressive. I think the Brighton game was a game that really our kids came through, and we talked about it on Monday in our locker room. We talked about, we have to use these league matches and all of these matches leading up until playoffs as opportunities to take risks and be nervous and really get after it and try new things. So the Brighton match, the girls, I think they eased up a little bit. We let them know they had some wiggle room to make mistakes and errors if that meant that it was going to improve their game. So I think what you saw on Tuesday was our team being able to feel a little more comfortable. And some of the players even mentioned it. We do player meetings, and we did a mid-season check-in yesterday, and a lot of them just said like they felt so comfortable on Tuesday because they knew that they were supported by our coaching staff and that we were going to allow them to make those mistakes during the game, even when it was a tight match.
All right. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to Northville the rest of the season. And we will definitely have you on again sometime, maybe right before districts or something.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.